The Blue Carbuncle, Part 1. I visited my friend Sherlock Holmes on the second morning of Christmas. When I arrived, he was sitting in front of the fire, wearing his purple dressing gown. Next to the sofa was a wooden chair. The chair was a dirty old hat. A magnifying glass and the forceps were on the chair, so the hat was probably part of one of Holmes's investigations. "Well, busy," I said. "I've some drug too." "Not at all," you replied, and indicated the hat. "The problem is very simple, but it is too interesting and maybe even destructive." I sat down in an armchair. I put my hands in front of the fan, for it was very cold outside. "I imagine," I said, "that this hat is connected with a terrible crime." No crime," said Sherlock Holmes, laughing. "It is only one of those strange things that happens when 1 million human beings live within this small area of the city, with so many people. Every imaginable combination of this possible, and sometimes you can find a problem with striking and strange, but not criminal. Do you know Pipkin's illusionary? Yes, this trophy belonged to him. It is his hat? No. He found it. Its owner is unknown. Look at it carefully. I noticed the dirty old hat, but it's an intellectual problem. It arrived here on Christmas morning. The kind of good fact goose. That goose is cooking Peter's house at this very moment. These are the facts. About 4 o'clock on Christmas morning, Peterson was returning from a party along Tottenport Road. In front of him, he saw a tall man carrying a white goose. Then he saw some men attack the tall man. One of the attackers knocked his hat off, so the man lifted his walking stick to defend himself. But when he lifted the stick, he broke a shop window by mistake. Peterson ran to help the man. But when the man was stopped, Peterson, with his own share and reversal, he fell to a policeman and he ran away and told the detectives. Peterson was there all alone with the hat and the goods. Of course, Peterson then turned the goods to Tottenham. I said, "No," replied Holmes, "that is the problem. It is true that Mrs. Henry Baker was in a small car with text to be leg of goose, and that the initials H.B.R. written on the line of hat. But there are thousands of bakers and hundreds of Henry Bakers in London. What then did Peterson do? He brought both the goose and the hat to me on this morning, because I was interested in even the smallest problems. I kept the goose until this morning, and then I gave it to Peterson to cook for dinner." "Did the man who lost the goose notice in the newspaper?" "No." "And how can you discover who he is?" "Asked from his hat." "You are joking. What can you learn from this dirty old hat?" "Here's my magnifying glass," replied Holmes. "You know my methods. Look at the hat and see what you can discover about the identity of the man." I picked up the hat and looked at it carefully. It was a very ordinary, round, black hat. It was very warm, and inside I could see there's a hole in the brim for the hat secure, but the elastic was missing. It was very dusty and spotted in several places, but the owner had tried to cover these spots with black ink. "I can see nothing," I said, and gave the hat to Holmes. "On the contrary, Watson, you can see everything, but you do not reason with what you see." "Then please tell me what you can deduce from this hat," I said. "Well," said Holmes, as he looked at the hat carefully, I consider him highly intellectual, and that 3 years ago he had enough money, but recently he had difficulties with money. He had 4 seconds past, but much less now, which means he has some problem, probably drink. This is probably the reason why his wife has stopped loving him. My dear Holmes, he hands how the kid some self-respect, continued Holmes. He stayed at home and got out a little. He's took a little dreamy, at middle-aged, has grey hair which has been recently cut, and he uses lime cream. This means fact. Also, I do not think he has gas lighting in his house. You are certainly joking, Holmes. Not at all. Don't you understand how I inferred these things? I am certain that I am very stupid, I replied. I can't follow your reason. For example, how did you deduce that this man was intellectual? John said me. Holmes put a hat on his head. The hat was too big for him. It covered his eyes. It's a question of value, said Holmes. Everyone has such a big brain. He must have something in it. How do you know he has less money now than in the past? This kind of hat first came out 3 years ago. It has of the very best quality. This man had enough money to buy such an expensive hat 3 years ago, but he had not bought another hat since then. Then it's just clear he has much less money now. Well, that is clear enough, certainly. But how about the foresight? Sherlock Holmes laughed. Here's the foresight, he said, putting hat to head secure. Head secures are never sold with hats. This means that he audited, which is a certain type of foresight. But since he had not replaced the broken elastic, this means that he's less foresight than before. But he has tried to hide some of the spots on his head with ink, which means that he has not completely lost his self-respect. Your reasoning is certainly very good, I said. That his knowledge, this has gray, that has been recently cut, and the used lime cream cannot be seen because the inside of the hat. With the magnifying glass, you can see the partially gray hairs cut where bubble scissors. They stick to the hat, and there is the distinct odor of lime cream. Also, you understand that the dust on the hat is the soft brown dust you find in houses, not the hard gray dust you find in the fridge. This means that the hats go inside the house most of the time, and it is not out very often. Also, you can see the sweat stain on the inside of the hat, which means he perspired a lot. And man who perspired so much can't be in the best of dreams. At his wife, you said that she stopped loving him. This hat is not be brushed for weeks. When the man's wife lets him go in such bad condition, it means that she doesn't love him anymore. Let it be a bachelor, I said. No, he was bringing the goose to make peace with his wife. Do you remember the car on the lake? You have an answer for everything. But how did you deduce that she doesn't have gaslight in this house? Well, yes, you saw one of 2 black stains on the hat streaked with chalk. But I could see it's 5 on this head, which means that she must use candles very frequently. Well, it is very ingenious, and said laughing. But since a crime has not been committed, all this seems to be a waste of time.